Awamakyam. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakokadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and Shalom to the sincere Akyam, spreading truth and sincerity. Shalom. So in this video I want to go into Bel and the Dragon, and what made me to make this video is something that a brother mentioned yesterday in the camp, because he mentioned that that this guy that he knew from back in the days said that the reason that he believes that this this Elam god with the elephant head, that he is real, is because when they said food before that idol, that it basically consumed that which was set before it, man. And then it was like, yeah, that's basically similar to what happened in the scriptures, man. And that's exactly what happened in Bad and the Dragon, man. Because those that worship Bel, and Daniel, he was conversing with the king, and the king said, that Bel, does eat and drink, because every time that something is said before it, the next day it's gone. But then Daniel proved that it was basically a farce, that it was basically something that these, priests, consumed, man. So I want to go into, Bel and the Dragon, to bring this out, that these idols, that these heathens worship, they don't eat, they don't drink, they don't do nothing, man. Just be there, being, made out of, elements of this earth, man. Whether it's wood, metal, or precious metals, whether they have, knives, axes, or whatever in their hands, they are not able to defend themselves, nothing whatsoever, man. Whatsoever said before them, they cannot even eat or drink, they're just, dumb, dead, immovable, items, man. So this is Bel and the Dragon, verse 1. And King Astyages was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus of Persia received his kingdom. And Daniel conversed with the king, and was honored above all his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, and there were spent upon him every day 12 great measures of fine flour, and 40 sheep, and 6 vessels of wine. So what the Babylonians actually offered unto this idol was quite a big amount of food, man. 40 sheep daily. 40 sheep daily, man. Think about that. 40 sheep. Even, when we have the Pasach, we have to take ourselves basically a sheep, or a goat, according to the measure as anyone is able to eat, man. That's basically for one family. So think about the amount, of food that was being served, to this idol, man. Verse 4. And the king worshipped. It's like, and the king worshipped it and went daily to adore it. But Daniel worshipped his own God. And the king said unto him, Why dost not thou worship Bel? Who answered and said, Because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living power who hath created the heavens and the earth, and has sovereignty over all flesh. Because if we go to, what is it, Psalms chapter 95 or 96, it's either one. Psalms chapter 96 verse 5, For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord Yahweh made the heavens. You see, so we, serve a living power, man, just like Daniel, told the king. Daniel told the king, basically, what you are serving is basically a dumb idol. And it's sovereignty over all flesh, which means that the Heavenly Father is in control. Verse 6, Then said the king unto him, Thinkest thou not that Bel is a living power? Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day? So just like this, guy that this brother knew from back in the days, he said a similar thing. That the statue basically consumed that which was said before it, man. And the king believed the same thing. Why? Because everything that was said before it disappeared. You see? Verse 7, Then Daniel smiled and said, O king, be not deceived, for this is but clay within, and brass without, and did never eat or drink anything. And that brings me to, how you say that, to the letter of Jeremiah. Because Jeremiah also forewarned our people when we was led into, captivity. Salakia. That we would come into the land where idols, was being served, man. This is the letter of Jeremiah, or, Baruch chapter 6 and verse 24. Notwithstanding the gold that is about them to make them beautiful, except they wipe off the rust, they will not shine, for neither when they were molten did they feel it. So the brass out of which, Bel was made, from the outside, and the clay from within, was to make it beautiful, man. But when that dumb idol would just be standing there, being dormant the whole day, standing idle, not doing nothing, it's gonna it's like a catch dust, and people need to wipe off the dust to make it shine again, man. Just like the gold, man, as it mentioned in this verse. Verse 8, So the king was wroth, and called for his priests, and said unto them, If ye tell me not who this is that devoured these expenses, ye shall die. So the king was kind of offended and was like, hey, prove me right, basically, in that Bel is the one that consumes it. So prove to me who it is. Prove to me who that it is that is consuming all the food, the 40 sheep, the 12 measures of flour, the 6 vessels of wine. Verse 9, But if ye can certify me that Bel devoured them, then Daniel shall die, for he had spoken blasphemy against Bel. And Daniel said unto the king, Let it be according to thy word. So basically, two things was being mentioned by the king. If the priests could not, prove, that it would be consumed, by Bel, then they would die. But if, they was able to, certify that Bel was the one that devoured it, then Daniel would be the one to die. Verse 10, Now the priests of Bel were 70, beside their wives and children, and the king went with Daniel into the temple of Bel. So in total, there were 70 priests, man, with their families, Verse 11, So Bel's priest said, Lo, we go out, but thou, O king, set on the meat and make ready the wine, and shut the door fast, and seal it with thine own signet. So the priest said, we are gonna go outside, but you're the one to prepare it and be the last one to leave, so that you know for surety that no one is left behind to consume it all. You see? And also seal it with thine own signet. Verse 12, And tomorrow when thou comest in, if thou findest not that Bel hath eaten up all, we will suffer death, or else Daniel that speaketh falsely against us. And they little regarded it, for under the table they had made a privy entrance, whereby they entered in continually and consumed those things. So they was like, we really don't mind, what the king said, because they were the ones, that had a sneaky entrance, basically a hidden door or something by which they will be able to come into the temple and consume, the things that was set before that idol, man. So they wasn't really thinking about anything is gonna happen to them. They would just do the things according to how they would usually do it, man. Verse 14. So when they were gone forth, the king set meats before Bel. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and those they strewed throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone. Then went they out and shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet, and so departed. So Daniel, he used knowledge, man. Daniel, he used knowledge to find out, who, who is the one, or basically what happens at night. He made sure that ashes would be scattered, upon the floor, so that if someone would step on it, it would leave an imprint, so that you would know, like, hey, something is going on. You see. So eventually, the king left, Daniel left. They shut the door, and the signet of the king was put upon the door, man. Verse 50. Now in the night came the priests with their wives and children, and they were wont to do, and did eat and drink upon. So they just did like they usually did, man. Eat and drink. Verse 17. And the king said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, Yea, O king, they be whole. And as soon as he had opened the door, the king looked upon the table and cried with a loud voice, Great art thou, O Bel, and with thee is no deceit at all. Because the king thought, because everything disappeared that was said before it, that Bel had eaten it all up. Verse 20. And the king said, Salakia, and the king said, I see the Salakia. Verse 19. Then laughed Daniel and held the king that he should not go in, and said, Behold, now the pavement, and mark well whose steps are these. And the king said, I see the footsteps of men, women, and children. And then the king was angry. So the king finally realized, like, it was always the priests, man, that did these things. Verse 21. And took the priests with their wives and children, who showed him the privy doors where they came in, and consumed such things as were upon the table. Therefore the king slew them, and delivered Bel into Daniel's power, who destroyed him and his temple. So, Daniel proved that Bel was an idol, and that he never consumed anything that was said before it, but that it was the priests that was so-called serving and ministering in the temple that did that with their families, man. You see? Let me see. Also, it said that Daniel basically destroyed it. Letter of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 29. Menstruous women and women in childbed eat their sacrifices. By these things ye may know that they are no gods, fear them not. So basically, women that are, defiled, that are not, pure because of, being menstruous and things like that, eat up the sacrifices, man, which, that's, hey, we in the scriptures understand that, you need to be holy in order to put up a sacrifice, right? And to basically be in the temple. So this is something that cannot happen, man. Let me see. Verse 34, whether it be evil that one doeth unto them, or good, they are not able to recompense it. They can neither set up a king nor put him down. So Daniel basically destroyed Belman, and he did not, stand up against Daniel to do anything about it, man. Yeah, man. Let me see. There's also something in the Wisdom of Solomon. Salakia, bear with me. Yeah, so this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, verse 15. For they counted all the idols of the heathen to be gods, which neither have the use of eyes to see, nor noses to draw breath, nor ears to hear, nor fingers of hands to handle. And as for their feet, they are slow to go. So, this is something that, our people did, man. Our people, they esteemed the idols of the heathen to be gods, man. But the point why I bring it out is because basically it says, which neither have the use of eyes to see, nor noses to draw breath. Even those, the idols that are created, sometimes might have, things that represent noses, eyes, ears. They're not able to use that, man. The feet, they can't even walk. You see? So yeah. That the thing is basically, man. You know? These idols, of these heathens are, nothing but idols, man. So like yeah. And that's the point, man. These heathens, they really need to set up something that, looks and represent that which they, worship, man. But, that's not the way of Israel, man. We was never, told by the Heavenly Father that we should set up these things that are created in the heaven and the earth, man. The Heavenly Father told us the exact opposite, man. Not to do such things. You see? Not to bow down to them, nothing, man. You see, of course, you might have something that you create that you find beautiful, but you don't bow down to it, man. You just have it as a decoration. That's it. Not with the intent to bow down to it and worship it, man. Because there's a distinct difference between those. You see, also when you go to the, Book of Kings, where King Solomon, created his throne of ivory, and he had these 14 lions in total, that he set near his throne, and two on the top, and then on the 6 stairs down on both sides one. So, that shows you that back in the days, they also had that, man. And there was nothing wrong with it, you see? So there's nothing wrong with, having something that you like that is created, to the likeness of the things in the heaven above or on the earth, but don't bow down and worship to it, man. Don't see it as a power or as something that has any power at all. You see? Because it doesn't move, it doesn't talk, it doesn't listen, it doesn't see, it doesn't eat and drink, man. So yeah, with that, I hope and pray that this video was edifying. And with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakokadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And shalom to the sincere Akim, spreading his truth and sincerity. Shalom.